Hello again, everyone. This is Game Collector here, and today, well, I have something a little bit special because I'm releasing this video a few days early, and I didn't really expect myself to do this. I am reviewing Transformers War for Cybertron and Transformers Fall of Cybertron Optimus Prime in celebration of the new video game's release. And these are both of them in their vehicle modes. Now, this one, War for Cybertron Prime, has been out for a while, having been released probably around circa 2009. Wow. That is a while. You had to wait 3 years for Fall, who's right here. And another thing, the way his gun is positioned, this is the actual way the instructions say, but it's small peg, big hole kind of deal. So it doesn't really fit too securely. So you can do it like that. Yes, all 6 of his wheels turn. And part of him wasn't properly closed in. He's a nice armored Cybertronian truck thing. As is this one, and yes, there's so much I have to talk about these two, because they're both really good toys, but we're going to remove that and show you how much smaller FOC Prime is compared to WFC Prime. He's itty bitty palm truck, and there's so much on him that could make him bigger, and oh man, I hope someone comes out with an expansion trailer or something, because all these 5mm peg holes on him, you could attach so much in there, and these nice hollow spaces inside of his knees. I mean, well, I wonder what you could peg in there. I don't know. Maybe a trailer hitch. This one technically has no room for a trailer hitch. It's one nice big giant chunk. And now he's a hover truck. No, that looks stupid. So we're going to close that up. But as for primes, we're going to do them in order, and I'm going to start with War for Cybertron Optimus and transform him. And oh, I am so glad I got him first, because it's so satisfyingly complex. Let's see, we start here. And yes, if I do make any mistakes, this is because of his complexity. I haven't transformed him back and forth in a while, and that's because I kind of get a little frightened because he is a $10 toy that is no longer being made. So there's that. Let's see, part of the front is unpegged. Ooh. Unpeg this. Fold that forward, giving you quite a bit of clearance, and you see all sorts of kibble. All of the kibble. Fold these side panels out. No, they're not doors, because he has no doors. Why would they have doors on Cybertron? Because Quintessons, that's why! The one thing I'm glad Marvel Comics managed to retcon back in the 80s. Oh, we're squid people and we made you. Lol, nope, you were made by a giant planet. That's actually your god. Yeah, that happened. And Marvel Comics did it. And while talking about Marvel Comics, they were the actual people who came up with the entire idea. Hasbro just made the toys. And remember to fold these back down because they are his kneecaps. And we have the legs, everyone. Mostly. Now you just need to fold this junk back, and remember to rotate the smokestacks around so they attach to his legs. Also, fold out the feet. And there, lower body is finished. Now we just have to work on this jumbled mess and make it look like the upper body of Optimus Prime. That shouldn't be too hard. So, fold out the arms. And try to fold them into a proper position where they won't get in the way of anything. Anything else, rather. Fold these giant wheels back. And then unpeg these front pieces from the bumper. You know, if you can do that. And slide them up. Now, another thing you should do is take this assembly and rotate it all the way around so it's facing the underside of the truck, or what was the underside of the truck that will be Optimus's back. And then you keep this bumper up front and rotate this entire assembly like that, and then fold it down. No, wait, you push the waist up, then you fold it down so it locks in place. There. And then remember to fold the bumper tabs back to form the rest of his belt. And finally, the rest of this on the shoulders. Let me pull the camera up a bit. You fold this down, and you fold this up, and then on the other side you do the exact same thing while getting the arms into position. Fold this down, fold that up, and pull down the arms, and lastly, flip up the head. Now, he does have light piping in his head, but because I'm a dunce and didn't bring my flashlight, I can't really show you. Well, that sucks. But I can show you this other little extra tidbit, and this is kind of a shared thing of sorts. Not with his fall figure, but with a completely different figure I may do at another date. He has the Autobot insignia kind of emblazoned into his back. It doesn't have the pointy fins, but it does look like the Autobot symbol. You can see that right there. Kind of wish I did bring my flashlight now. But, you know, in order to take for the kibble, you fold that up there. And this little peg right there, that's so he can hold his gun. Granted, it doesn't do a very good job of keeping it from popping open. But yeah, he can put his gun on his backpack. Yeah, that little hole right there by my thumb. Or does it go the other way? I can't always help that because this gun is practically made of springs. Let's see if it'll fit the other way. Ah, it does! Nice! So, this guy is loaded with posability, and that's an amazing thing for a $10 toy, but granted how complex his transformation is, this guy might have as well have been a $20 toy. Maybe 30. Hell, this guy should have been a leader class, but, you know, given the economy at the time, it was a very wise decision to compress him down into a $10 figure and still make him really awesome. He has just a standard hinge shoulder. He can go in and out, but due to the inner transformation joint, his arm tends to sag like that if you try to pull it out and then fold it back down. He has a standard hinge elbow and a bicep swivel. And he also has a wrist swivel, but he doesn't have a lot of clearance due to his little armor pads there. Head is on a ball joint. He can sort of look down. He can sort of look up. And head can rotate 360 degrees. It's light piped, like I said. Can't show you. Derp. Well, he actually can look up very well. It's looking down that's a problem due to his giant chest piece. His thighs on a ball joint. You can get more clearance if you keep the belt open and, you know, have this pushed back like that. Now, you can't really move his leg too far forward, again, because of his belt. He does, however, have double-jointed knees, also due to transformation, but that's pretty awesome. His feet are on he has a double-jointed ankle. There's a ball joint inside the leg and a ball joint inside the foot, so his foot can do a whole lot of crazy things. And by crazy, I mean not very crazy. Now, mine being a few years old and got played with a lot because I got the game and the toy I got this toy a few months before the game was even released, so I had something to occupy myself with before the game came out. And even then, between the game, I would pick him up and mess with him. Because why would you play as... Okay. War for Cybertron basically let you choose one character, and you could run as that character throughout the entire campaign. Fall of Cybertron threw the campaigns out completely, and for every level, your character is different. So it's more like an episodic thing. You know, like each character gets their own episode. Ba-ding! There you go! Just like a Transformers cartoon! Like one week you'd have an episode about Bumblebee, another about Optimus Prime, maybe one about Decepticons, so on and so forth. Oh yeah, and his gun. There are quite a few things you can do about him because this guy is loaded with 5mm pegs too. Well, 4 of them. And you can actually give him 2 War for Cybertron guns. The first one being the Ion machine gun, or the Ion SMG. Ooh, there's still a little wear inside of his gun there. You can attach it to his wrist, and there's the SMG, or the Ion repeater rifle. There you go. Was it plasma? I don't remember, but it's one of the little rapid-fire machine gun weapons. So you can give him that onto his arm. Or you can put it up here. And you can just have it hang on his back on the wheel wells here, because there are 5mm pegs there. Sort of. They're real small. Yeah, enough with that. And now the gun can do dramatic transformation. Put it in his hand backwards. And then pull that down and it flips into place on its own. And now you have Prime's default gun, which is pretty big, but it doesn't really look very much like a gun Optimus Prime would use. And this is supposed to be his ion rifle, or ion blaster, or something. And because of the universal 5mm peg, that gun can go with just about any other figure released from Generations, except Drift, because Drift hates guns and his hands aren't molded to hold guns, except Blur's guns. And Blur can't hold other guns either, so there you go. Those are the only 2. So let's bring up his stat card, shall we? There's his bio. Pause right here while it's still full. And done. And his stats. Let me make it a little more. I need to adjust the camera real quick. Yeah, it's going to be a little fuzzy at first, but don't worry, it'll get clear. There you go! Strength 10, Intelligence 10, Speed 7, Endurance 10, Rank 10, Courage 10, Firepower or Fire Blast 10, and Skill 9. Only 2 stats on a Prime that aren't 10. That is amazing, because we haven't had an Optimus with all 10 stats in years. So now with that out of the way, we're going to take that. You've had your fun, but it's time for Optimus to reformat into Fall of Cybertron Optimus Prime, and my camera is wonky and moving on its own free accord. I'm setting a Fall Optimus, War Optimus down for a moment, so this guy can get his own. Now, again, I told you he's really tiny. It's amazing how small he is, because he's a deluxe. And yes, he has 6 wheels. They all turn. And these wheels are actually, they're pegged in. If you can, yeah, that little black peg right there, if you can see it kind of twisting. That's how the wheel is connected in there, and I'm kind of afraid that, you know, if they're tugged hard enough, they just snap right off. But believe it or not, this guy is like a brick in vehicle mode anyway, so his gun can only mount on 2 points, and that would be right here and here. So we're just going to set his gun off to the side for now and transform him. I'm going to start by pulling the bumper forward and then turning it inward and folding it up against the front wheel wells. At least I hope those are the wheel wells. I don't want to be wrong in this case, but you fold them against the bottom of the front. Then you pull that forward all the way, fold the back wheels forward, and you get the legs. And these little peg pieces right here are obviously the feet. So you fold them in like this, and then you can split them. And let's see, you unpeg these, rotate the arms around, and then the fists around. Now you want to rotate the arms so they're facing backwards, and there's a reason for this, despite how crazy and wacky it may look. And yes, he is kind of leaning forwards a bit. Rotate these. This back and around, and then the fists. And I will be showing you differences between these two figures, you know. Then you take and push this in, and it makes the arm assembly and the body go in. Then you flip this piece back so it snaps, and it also reveals the head. Now, last thing you want to do is just take these smokestacks. Let me raise the camera up a bit. Ah! Camera was about to fall. Sorry. And fold them flat. Oh, as flat as possible. And there you have Fall of Cybertron Optimus Prime. Now, in robot mode, he's still pretty small. And another little tidbit. This is pretty much how all the stock pictures have him holding the gun. So what's this peg for? To make him hold the gun properly. That is what that peg is for. So it actually looks more like his gun and kind of gives the illusion that the gun is part of his hand. Now, the other thing you can do is, if you don't feel like folding the smokestacks down, he now has a shoulder-mounted gun. He is now Boba Prime. No, wait, that doesn't sound right, because Boba Fett never had a shoulder-mounted cannon. But there's someone who looks exactly like Boba Fett who does. And he's purple. Don't think too hard about it if you really know what I like. Val from Mega Man X. There. I told you. Now, this guy doesn't really suffer from movement loss at all. He has shoulders on a ball joint, hinge joint elbow, bicep swivel, and that's also due to transformation, same on this side. His hips are on a ball joint, and he has a single hinged knee, not that he actually loses any movement, and a ball jointed foot. And yes, he can go fairly wide stance, but not super wide. And he also has a waist joint, something that WFC Prime did not have at all. And he doesn't have that goofy belt that gets in the way. And his head is on a ball joint. His eyes are not light piped, thank God. Well, sort of. I don't have to bring in my flashlight if his eyes aren't piped. And then his head, yeah, pretty much does that. And yeah, he's even covered in, just as I was saying before earlier in the review, he is covered in peg holes everywhere. Bottom of the feet, sides of the legs, sides of the arms, on the smokestacks, on his back. This is just begging for a third-party release for a trailer that turns into a suit of armor. The Apex armor, that would be amazing. That would be absolutely amazing to see Cybertronian Apex armor. And not that crap from Prime that turned Starscream into Iron Man. I mean, I actually want to see something that turns into a trailer and then turns into a suit of armor. Not just this giant thing that looks like Iron Man going underwater with a bubble over his head. And so, again, more comparisons between the two figures, and I think you can already tell which one's taller. You can also tell there's a slight loss of mass, seeing them front to front like that. Though, technically, this guy just has a block for his chest. But yeah, this guy loses a lot of mass, but doesn't lose a lot of posability. Personally, I like them both, and it's really hard to compare the two of them. But before we end, I'm going to pull back a bit and readjust the camera again so you can read. Pause here. And now you can stop. And there's the Fall of Cybertron plug. And there he is, stock photo imagery, holding the gun wrong because Hasbro screwed up. And the big thing says, ion cannon included, but what is this? I don't even... These are G1 style tech specs! When I saw this, I just had a fanboy geek moment. In the store, even. Turned the box around, I'm like, where are the numbers? And then I look down and I see that grid, and I'm like, oh my god! Now, as for his stats, this would be, because you do have to kind of do a grid thing right here. And because of how they're positioned, I actually have to set this down, and oh, that's not good. Camera decided to turn, and you saw one of the props for this backdrop. So adjust the camera again. And this is going to be like this through the entire generation toy line, so this is going to be hard. Strength is 10. His intelligence is 8, which is actually a big which is kind of an unusual drop for him, considering his previous form had a 10. His speed is still 7, endurance 10, rank 10, courage 10, firepower or fire blast 9, and skill 8. Apparently, during the 3-year break between games, Prime has lost some smarts and skill. Though, considering this is Optimus Prime, that's not really a big thing now, is it? Because he always beats the crap out of Megatron. So we'll put these guys back up together. And this has been a special Transformers Fall of Cybertron release day review. I will see you all again next week, because I'm not releasing another video this Friday due to this. Later!